Scientists think they may be captured
asteroids. Maybe they came from the big asteroid belt.
asteroids. Maybe they came from the big asteroid belt that is
between Mars and Jupiter. An asteroid belt is a big ring of asteroids or rocky.
Mars and Jupiter. An asteroid belt is a big ring of asteroids or rocky objects
Objects orbiting the sun.
Jupiter comes next.
Jupiter comes next, the fifth planet in the solar system. Jupiter is the largest planet.
The fifth planet in the solar system. Jupiter is the largest planet and is
something called a gas giant. It is called this because it is really big.
Called a gas giant. It is called this because it is really big and made mostly of gases.
Jupiter is so big that you would have to place 11 Earths end to end.
Jupiter is so big that you would have to place 11 Earths end to end just to stretch across its middle.
Jupiter is also the third brightest object in the night sky. Only Venus and the moon.
Also the third brightest object in the night sky. Only Venus and the moon are brighter. You can usually find Jupiter higher in the sky than Venus since Jupiter. Since Jupiter is away
from the sun and not towards it.
Jupiter
has at least 67 moons that circle around it, but 55 of them are very small.
67 moons that circle around it, but 55 of them are very small, only about as big as a mountain or smaller.
Some of its moons are very large.
Or smaller. Some of its moons are very large, and at least two of them are
about the same size as the planet Mercury. One of its moons
about the same size as the planet Mercury. One of its moons is the largest moon.
It's the largest moon in the solar system. Some of these large moons can be seen from Earth.
Some of these large moons can be seen from Earth in your backyard with a telescope. People cannot land on Jupiter.
People cannot land on Jupiter because it is made of gas. There's no ground to land on.
Because it is made of gas, there is no ground to land on. Even if there was somewhere to land,
Jupiter is covered by terrible storms, much stronger.
And Jupiter is covered by terrible storms, much stronger than even the strongest storm.
Much stronger than even the strongest storms on Earth. One storm that we know about can be seen from Earth.
One storm that we know about can be seen from Earth.
We call it the Great Red Spot because that's what it looks like, and it has been.
We call it the Great Red Spot because that's what it looks like, and it has been going on for
at least 200 years.
200 years. After Jupiter comes Saturn, another gas giant.
Saturn is famous for its beautiful rings.
Another gas giant. Saturn is famous for its beautiful rings. Although
they look solid from a distance, the rings are actually made from many
The rings are actually made from many small ice particles.
small ice particles, as well as rocks and dust.
as well as rocks and dust. Saturn also
has more than 60 moons orbiting around it, some as large as the planet Mercury.
than 60 moons orbiting around it, some as large as the planet Mercury, and many smaller. Something interesting about
Something interesting about Saturn is that even though it is very large,
Saturn is that even though it is very large, it is not very dense.
it is not very dense. That means that if you could find a bathtub large enough to put Saturn in,
means that if you could find a bathtub large enough to put Saturn in, it would float instead.
it would float instead of sink.
Saturn
Saturn is the farthest planet that can be seen from Earth without the help of a telescope.
this planet that can be seen from Earth without the help of a telescope. After Saturn comes Uranus.
After Saturn comes Uranus, the seventh planet from the Sun. Uranus is another gas giant.
The seventh planet from the Sun. Uranus is another gas giant, but it is much smaller than Saturn.
But it is much smaller than Saturn and Jupiter. Unlike any other planet in the solar system,
Saturn and Jupiter. Unlike any other planet in the solar system, it is
tilted so much that it actually spins sideways. Uranus has rings around it also.
tilted so much that it actually spins sideways. Uranus has rings around it, although they are much smaller than Saturn's. And
Although they are much smaller than Saturn's, and in 27 known moons, Uranus is covered in blue clouds.
27 known moons. Uranus is covered in blue clouds made of methane.
Which give it its lovely color.
Very similar
to Uranus is Neptune, the eighth planet from the Sun. Neptune is another gas.
Uranus is Neptune, the eighth planet from the Sun. Neptune is another gas giant. And like
Uranus, it has methane in its atmosphere, so it also looks blue.
It has methane in its atmosphere, so it also looks blue. Neptune is a darker blue than Uranus.
Neptune is a darker blue than Uranus, and scientists aren't sure why. Neptune has a few thin rings.
Neptune has a few thin rings
and 14 moons that we know about.
Because
Neptune is so far out of space, it takes a very, very long time to go around
space. It takes a very, very long time to go around the Sun.
Sun, remember Mercury that only takes 88 days to go once around the Sun. Poor Neptune.
Remember Mercury that only takes 88 days to go once around the Sun? Poor Neptune takes over 100.
Poor Neptune takes over 164 years to finish an orbit around the Sun. The last time that Neptune was in,
and 64 years to finish an orbit around the Sun. The last time that Neptune was in the same place.
Neptune was in the same place. It is was before the American Civil War, before computers, phones, airplanes.
It is now. Was before the American Civil War. Before computers, phones, airplanes, or cars had been invented.
Or cars had been invented. Neptune has the longest orbit of any planet in the solar system.
Neptune has the longest orbit of any planet in the solar system.
Now you may think that I've forgotten someone. Pluto. Pluto was discovered in 1930.
Now you may think that I've forgotten someone. Pluto. Pluto was discovered in 1930 and was listed as the ninth planet in the solar
And was listed as the ninth planet in the solar system, as it was studied longer.
system. As it was studied longer, scientists realized
Scientists how small it is. It is much smaller than any other planet in the solar system.
small it is. It is much smaller than any other planet in the solar system, and
even smaller than many other moons. Plus, people started to discover a
smaller than many other moons. Plus, people started to discover other small, rocky planet-like objects.
Rocky planet-like objects in space near Pluto. Some of them were even bigger than Pluto. In 2006,
in space near Pluto. Some of them were even bigger than Pluto. In 2006, after 76 years
being listed as a planet, Pluto was declared as a dwarf planet to show that
being listed as a planet, Pluto was declared a dwarf planet to show that it was something that was like a planet, but
that it was something that was like a planet, but much smaller. There are at least 6 dwarf planets.
Much smaller. There are at least 6 dwarf planets in the solar system, and
possibly many more.
That leaves us with 8 official planets in our
solar system: Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars.
solar system. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars,
Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune.
Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. I hope you enjoyed